welcome back to the channel for another of our Hidden Gems videos. Today we're in RaceRoom and we're going to be taking a look at 5 tracks that you really should try if you haven't already. So let's jump in with number 1 right now. Okay, so number 1 on our list is this one, Gallaresen Arena in Sweden. Now this little circuit, it's very small, not very well known, but that doesn't mean it's not a whole heap of fun. We're in GT4 spec cars for this particular test. We're specifically in the BMW M4 GT4, but this little circuit is probably better suited to lower powered cars, slower cars in the game. You start getting into things like high powered single seaters and ultra fast GT cars, it might get a little bit out of hand, but for the lower powered cars this little circuit really is a whole heap of fun and worth trying out. Lots of challenging corners on it. Even though it's quite short, there's still a fair amount of elevation change on the track as well. So we'll get ourselves towards the end of this lap here and we'll talk you around a lap of this circuit. This is the full circuit. There is a short circuit available as part of the track as well. So here we go then, up and over the line, heading down towards the first corner here. This is the only chance on this particular circuit you get a chance for a rest. So braking just before the 100 board, down into this 90-degree right-hander. The track dips away on the apex there, so you've got to make sure you get the car tucked in. And then this little complex of double rights there, over a crest in the middle of it, straight into this left-hander, which again dips on the apex. Then you get the power down hard, come to this flat-out right-hander, over that big bump, down to another crest, rising the other end for this tight right-hand hairpin. Feed the power in and join up with that second right-hander, again through another little dip, and then this is a really tricky little corner, this left-hander. Very easy to run too wide on the exit there, and then you're off into the gravel as well. Then we have this really quick series of left followed by right. We'll have our brakes to keep the car settled through there, and then on the brakes again as we prepare for the final sweeping right-hander to finish the lap. But this circuit really is nice to drive. There's a good rhythm around here as well, so you can kind of get yourself settled in for a long run and just enjoy the flow of driving around this circuit. It does race well as well, even though it's quite full on and the corners come at you quite quickly. You can still race other cars quite happily around here. But it really is quite a challenge at the same time. All the bumps and the crests in the road make for a good challenge. So one of the great things about RaceRoom is you also get a decent amount of tracks which may not be commonplace, you know. Of course you've got the ever popular ones such as Spa-Francorchamps, Suzuka, Monza, all that lot, which are great. But sometimes the real joy in sim racing is the opportunity to try tracks which you may never have even heard of before. So that's exactly what we're going to be doing in this video, is going through some of the tracks which you really should give a go. And Gallaresen is certainly one of those tracks. So, track number 2 in our collection of hidden gems on RaceRoom is this one, the Slovakia Ring, which, funnily enough, is in Slovakia. But this circuit is a little bit more known than maybe some of the other ones that we'll cover in this video, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's not worth covering. It was built back in 2008-2009, so it's been around for a little while, and it's hosted various World Championship events such as GT1, GT3, various high-level motorbike racing as well, and including WTCC, which is why we're in the 2017 WTCC car, specifically the Volvo S60. But this little circuit, well it's not little, it's quite a long circuit actually, but this circuit in particular has got a really nice rhythm to it, nice flow, good mixture of high and low speed corners, and some really challenging ones as well. Especially for something like this in a front-wheel drive car, which can sometimes be easily quite unsettled by certain types of corner. So this particular circuit really does challenge your ability sometimes as I run off track there. There's a long lap around here. Again, decent amount of elevation change, mostly because of access roads which go underneath parts of the circuit, I think. We're cresting the road here, but we'll get ourselves down to the start of the lap and we'll go through a full lap of the circuit. But these WTCC cars are a good match for this type of circuit. Just enough pace to keep it interesting. Big old long corner to finish the lap off here. So here we go, approaching the start-finish line now. Decent length start-finish straight, so plenty of time to check the gauges and the lap times and the gaps to everyone else. So first corner is a right-hander, so we set up on the left-hand side over here, brake around the 100 board, down a couple of gears, get the car tucked in nice and early, feed the power on. We rise over this bridge section here to a really fast right-hander. Now this one is not quite flat out in these WTCC cars, but it's not far away. Really, really quick through there. Again, another little rise and dip, and we're braking just as we're on the downslope for this next hairpin, which is quite slow. We'll get the car tucked in again. Try and feed the power on as gently as you can without running off onto the grass on the outside. This next corner here, left-hander is taken flat out. This right-hander, a little bit of a confidence lift. And on this corner here, you're braking and you're turning, and the front-wheel drive car, it can really unsettle the rear end. This right-hander just kind of goes on for quite a while. But once you're through there, you're instantly into this left and you're hard on the brakes for a tighter left-hander. One of the slowest ones on the circuit. And again, another really fast corner, this one a left-hander, which leads up and over this hill. And again, braking on the down slope. This next little complex of corners. Car over to the left here, open up the right-hander. Progressively gets quicker and quicker as you go through there. That last bit's taken flat out. Again, up and over a little crest in the road there, down towards the final corner. This is a really tricky corner, this long right-hander. It's so easy to run too deep into there, and then that just completely compromises your run off the corner. But also it's easy to just put the power on too early going through there, so you end up running really wide and then just losing all your momentum onto the main front straight, which is where you need to have a good run onto. But the circuit itself is really good, so it's nice and wide as you can see, so there's plenty of room for jockeying for position. So we come up on another of our Volvo teammates in front of us here. But yeah, plenty of opportunities for some racing. Does provide a good amount of racing as well, because some of the slower speed corners it gives you an opportunity to get the car at the inside of someone else, but also the fast corners just have a little edge to them, which means that you can quite easily be caught out and then stabilise the car. Let's see how fast this Volvo through here. Just managed to go around the outside just because that's what we do. Tap of the brakes just to make sure we don't get too far offline through there. Again, just balancing the brakes through there, not hitting them too hard, just resting on them almost, just to keep the car stable and pointing in the right direction. Power on carefully through there so we don't get too much wheel spin. Little lift partway through there, it's not quite flat again. Brakes into here. A bit too deep that time round, but we'll cut across. Try and keep our speed up as we exit the complex. And over the top once again. But it really is a good circuit, and it's got a nice rhythm, as you can see, with one corner just flows nicely to the next, and that's what I really enjoy about certain circuits, is that it makes the joy of driving that much higher when you don't feel like you're constantly fighting the track. Some circuits you feel like, it doesn't flow nicely, so you're just literally just trying to get through each corner and survive. It doesn't make it a very fun driving experience, but when it really rolls together nicely like this one, it does really help the experience of driving the car at speed. So that's the Slovakia ring. What else is a hidden gem on RaceRoom? Okay, so this next circuit we're going to introduce to you from pit lane, for very good reason. Let's go out onto the track. We're at Zhejiang International Circuit, and we have a tunnel pit lane exit. So we go underneath turn 1, we pop out on the inside of turn 2. How cool is that? Very much like Abu Dhabi, Yas Marina circuit. Very, very cool. Now this circuit is interesting for a couple of reasons, not just because of its pit lane exit, but because of its layout. And it's almost a circuit of two halves. Because where we are right now, we have what seems to be an almost endless series of corners which just keep coming at you all the time. Let's get second gear through there. And there's a reason for that. It's because this part of the circuit is sculpted out of the hillside, so you're almost on like an alpine pass or a mountainous road, where you're just following the natural topography of the land underneath you. And then all of a sudden you come down the other side of the hill and things start to open out again. So through this tight left-hand hairpin here, and all of a sudden we're on a wide open expansive track. You can see where we were just on the top of the hill to our left there. But now we can really open the car up and see what kind of performance we get out of it. Now we're in the 911-964 Cup car, which is really quite nicely suited to this circuit, because relatively speaking it's lowish horsepower and it's not as fast as some of the other cars within RaceRoom. So due to the tight and twisty nature of the circuit over the top of the hill, it works really nicely. So through turn 1 and 2 here, now start to ascend the hillside. With the 911 being quite tail happy, trying to balance it through these corners can be quite fun. Dropping down the hill ever so slightly here. Play with the throttle to try and get the car to rotate out of that right-hander. And then more corners continue to onslaught your tyres as you come through here. Some nice rock formations on the right-hand side there. And we're getting to the top of the hillside here. Catching up with a couple of cars ahead of us. This final chicane section, which is actually reasonably quick, really unbalance the car going through there if you chuck it left and right too fast. We've survived and we're through. And then we can get to the section where we can take a little bit of a breath. It's kind of like Bathurst in a way, where you have the lowland area, which is plainly straightforward and simple to drive. But then you have the hillside section, which is just never ending. But again, it's got quite a nice flow to it. Brand new looking building on the right side, and that's for good reason, because this circuit was only opened in 2016, so it's still fairly new in terms of general circuits that you've given the world of motorsport. And as such, it's not really had the opportunity to have many real-world motorsport events attend the circuit, so International TCR have been here, but that's about it in terms of international motorsport. So WTCR cars work nicely around here, and anything like this 911 are equally just as good. But it really does flow very nicely indeed. Try and get past this other car if we can. We'll wait for our opportunity because you can't really get through very easily over the top of the hill here. Again, quite reminiscent of Bathurst because no one really makes an overtaking move at the top of Bathurst skyline, unless your name's Jordan Cox, of course. But you can race this circuit. It is possible to have a good race here. There are opportunities for overtaking. So we just about sneak up the outside here. Hopefully we'll be able to keep it here and have the inside for the final corner. We're still there. Brake as late as we can. We've got the corner to ourselves. A bit of sideways on the way through. But this circuit is really quite a fun circuit to drive. It's nicely laid out, it's nicely modelled as well. There's plenty of life to it. It looks very nice indeed. Not that you have too much time to enjoy looking at the scenery because you have a corner to attend to. One of the areas where you can potentially get an overtake done in this middle section is out of here, as you can line them up, get a decent exit off the corner, and then on this short little run to the next right-hander you might be able to just squeak up the inside, which we managed to do there. For quite a twisty circuit, it's quite enjoyable to drive. Very technical as well. You've got to really maximise your run through these corners. And breathe. There we go. Back onto the flat again. So this is the Grand Prix circuit of the Zhejiang International Circuit. There is a shorter version as well. But this full layout is one that's really worth trying, and definitely a worthy addition to your lineup of tracks. As I promptly spin on the last corner. So, just lost all those places that we just gained over the top. So that's Zhejiang International Circuit. What else do we like on RaceRoom? So, sticking with Asia for our next circuit on our list, we're in Thailand, specifically at the Chang International Circuit, also known as Buriram. Now, this circuit is incredibly fast. It is dubbed the destination of speed, and it's very easy to see why. We're in the Ford GT1, from the GT1 category, and this thing is an absolute monster. It's so quick, loads of grip, a real handful to drive. But this circuit, it's got plenty of high-speed sections, and for me, it feels very much like Monza, but without the chicanes, which is, in my eyes, a good thing, because I'm not a fan of the chicanes at Monza. But instead you get it replaced with flowing corners, which are quite challenging in their own right. Coming into this penultimate combination of corners right here. Despite being reasonably flat, there are some subtle elevation changes on the circuit. But there's so many opportunities to let the car loose. And to the final corner here. Let's go for a lap. Chang International Circuit. So here we are, up and over the line. First corner is quite a quick right-hander. Brake up the 100 board there. The car went wide. I kind of went down a bit too many gears there, but that's okay. We're off on our first of our long stretches of circuit. We just keep the car pinned up into 6th gear. Then hard on the brakes. This constant radius right-hand hairpin. Move it out wide and get the cut back on the inside there. And then we're straight back onto the return leg of that long straight right here. Speed constantly building all the way down here, and then down to my favourite corner on the circuit, which is this really fast left-hander. Just kind of knock it down a gear, and then straight back on the power before onto the brakes. For this double right-hander here, kind of leave it out wide and let the car come back into the apex there. Followed by a left-hander which isn't taken flat. You have to kind of balance the car through there a little bit. And another double right-hander coming up, so down a gear, get it turned in, catch the camber on the inside, and then slow it down once again for unwinding the lock for this sweeping section here. And keep it flat out, up and over the curb on the right-hand side there. Up past the Long Live the King banner on the side there, which I assume is for the King of Thailand, which is a cool touch. That's a lap of Chang International Circuit, and it's really, really cool. It's quite a wide circuit as well, so there's plenty of opportunity to go side by side with other cars all around the circuit. And that offers plenty of overtaking opportunities as well. In a higher powered car like this with high top speeds, it is really, really fun. And even though you can get up to some serious speeds, the straights are long enough to be able to deal with it. So for those who enjoy going fast, this circuit is definitely one for their list. But what I do love about this, again, I go on about this quite a lot, but flow and rhythm in the circuit really does make track more enjoyable, and this circuit certainly has that. There's enough challenge in each of the corners to be able to spend hours trying to master it, trying to set that ultimate lap time, but at the same time provides you with one of the biggest smiles you could possibly get in sim racing, because you're just constantly linking from one corner to another, letting your rhythm kind of kick in and just having that really nice natural flow about it. Really is a great circuit, this one. So anything high powered, so high powered single seaters would work around here as well. GTs obviously, as we're in, prototype cars work here really well too. Yeah, it really is a great little circuit. Down to the hairpin once again, catching up with a Celine in front of us, try and keep the car tucked in this time rather than running too deep like we have done. Power back on the power again. Going down to my favourite corner once more. So good, car moving around underneath you. Kind of miss the apex on the inside there just to kind of allow the car to rotate. Flow naturally to the outside of the circuit. It is just so fun to drive. All of this means that there is just one circuit left on our list of hidden gems. You want to know what it might be? Let's go and find out. Okay, so the final circuit in our list of hidden gems on the RaceRoom Racing Experience is this, Bilsterberg in Germany. Now, I've never heard of Bilsterberg before I tried it in RaceRoom, and I'm so glad that they brought it to the simulation, because this circuit it's just superb. Now, we often refer to the likes of Bathurst or the Nordschleife as being roller coaster type circuits. But Bilsterberg, especially here on the Gesamtstrecke, is next level roller coaster. It all looks fairly tame so far, but just you wait, because all of a sudden this track really comes alive with elevation changes. It's just so fun. We're in the BMW E30 M3 Group A car, which is beautifully matched for this particular circuit. But look at this, you just climb this absolute mountain in front of you here, and then you're flat out over the top, sideways. And then come into this little section here, and we've got fast chicanes like this, again up over a crest. Oh, it's just perfection, it's so good. It really is amazing, this circuit. Oh, you just can't help but smile driving around here. You have this fast left-hander, get it tucked on the inside, back on the power. And then to finish you off, if you haven't had enough up and down roller coaster action, there's this little section. Hard on the brakes as you slip through the left and right. And then again hard on the brakes again, just tuck it into the inside here. And then up and over the line. Now this place is just absolutely fantastic, and it just, there's so many corners on it, but each one of them is just so much fun and such a challenge as well. I mean, driving something like this, which, as you can see, the rear end is pretty lively on occasion. It really does challenge your car control and helps you to be able to balance the car just that little bit better. It's a good mixture of high and low speed corners, and this chicane here, just let it run over the curb on the exit, tuck it back in on the right, cars bouncing everywhere. It's such a full-on lap, but it just makes you want to drive more and more laps because it's just that good. I mean, it's quite a narrow circuit, but but it's just so fun, you don't really mind. Coming up on a Volvo ahead of us here, so we can round them up out of this chicane, up and over the curbs. The boost of the Volvo will kick in and keep it ahead for the time being. Oh, so we can sneak it up the inside. But again, you can race here with cars like these saloon cars. You can have a good race around here. But then I've also driven this circuit in the likes of the Aquila prototype, which is also equally as fun. I mean, it's just berserk because everything comes up at you so quickly, but it's such a fun circuit to drive. Absolutely love this place. There are actually 5 variants of the Bilsterberg circuit on RaceRoom, and each one of them is just brilliant. It really is awesome. That's what I love about sim racing, is the fact that you can try these different circuits which you just never really even knew existed in some cases, and just have an absolute blast driving them in whatever machinery you want to drive, whether you want to drive this in touring cars like this, or GT cars, or prototype cars, Formula single-seaters, you name it. You will have an absolute riot around here, whatever you choose to drive. We're getting a traffic jam ahead of us. Sorry. A bit of an aggressive move there, and then he reciprocated that on the other BMW. Oh, they're not as brave over the top as I am. Don't blame them, it is a bit mad. But, you know, we love sim racing for this very reason, that you can drive all sorts of circuits in all sorts of cars, and it's just brilliant. Now, there are other tracks in RaceRoom which we haven't covered in this video, but are also equally worth trying. Things like Moscow Raceway or Ningbo in China. You know, they're good circuits as well. Having a right on battle here. But these 5 circuits I've picked out because they're just fun to drive. They really are. They're worth sharing with you so that you can have the same experience of driving these circuits as as I have. So if you have a favourite circuit on RaceRoom, please do let us know in the comments below. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Also, what would be your favourite combination using these circuits? Have you got a particular car that you like to drive around Bilsterberg or Chang International or wherever it may be? Let us know in the comments as well. We hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you have, please do consider hitting the like button below. And if you haven't already, hit the red button which says subscribe on it to become one of the Sim Racing Bible teammates. You become one of us, a fellow group of enthusiasts who love sim racing. It would mean a lot to the channel if you did become a teammate, because it makes us know that you enjoy what we do. Just about got that Volvo through there. Sideways everywhere. But we hope you enjoyed this video anyway. Until next time, we'll be just driving more laps of the circuit if you don't mind. As of course, until we crash. But we'll see you next time.